A strange weekend. Last weekend was very strange for my family and me. While we were driving our car to a small town near our city, we saw an old house beside the road. There was an old woman sleeping and swinging in a hammock. Next to her, small boy was playing with some rocks. When I looked at him, he threw a rock at our car, and it broke the windshield. For that reason, I got very angry, and I stopped immediately to complain about it with his grandma. My wife and children got off the car first. Then I walked towards the old house in ruins. Suddenly, it disappeared with the woman and the small boy just before our eyes. So we were terrified and immediately ran back to our car. As soon as we got back to it, to our surprise, the windshield was not broken. It took us 10 seconds to get to the car, but they felt like 10 hours. After we got in the car again, I had a hard time starting the car again to go to our destination. I tried twice, but it didn't work. At the third try, it finally started, but we stopped to read an old rusty warning sign. The road was closed because of a landslide, which had blocked all the lanes in the road. They needed at least 2 days or more to restore it, and there were no workers or bulldozers in the area. We backed off because we had to take a detour to an old road that we had seen 300 meters before. As we were driving through the detour, we noticed that it hadn't been used for a long time, and some plants had grown 1 meter tall on the tracks, where the tires were supposed to be rolling over. We heard a horrible crushing sound as I drove over the tall plants and saw the same static landscape through the windows. It felt like it had frozen, and I drove through a small village where my wife asked me to stop at an ugly restaurant for some water. Across from the restaurant, we saw a very similar house to the one we had seen before, but a bit better, with a similar hammock hanging from 2 small trees next to it. A boy that looked like the one who broke our windshield was sleeping in the hammock, but he was about 3 or 4 years younger. Even though we were nervous about the first encounter with the old woman and her grandson, we got out of the car to ask for directions. The old woman looked very alike the old woman we had seen before, but much younger. She kindly told me to keep on driving along the road to the next town. We thanked the woman and continued our trip for about 3 hours. In the next town, we were supposed to take back the main road that was closed. When we were approaching the main road again, we saw the old empty restaurant and house again, but were afraid and did not stop to take a closer look. The second old town was ahead of us. We were very afraid to stop, and there were no signs of life. Suddenly, we were exactly at the same place and time where the boy had broken our windshield. We were pretty frightened and stopped immediately to think about the situation and tried to relax. We took some minutes to catch our breath and slow down our heartbeat. The warning sign about the landslide was not anywhere. As I started the car again to park in a safe place, we heard some rumbling sounds, and a huge and terrible landslide fell just in front of our car. Fortunately, only a small rock hit the car and left just a little scratch on it. We were terrified. There was a just space in one of the lanes to slowly drive through. We waited for a few minutes until we didn't hear any noises of falling rocks, and the dust cloud had vanished. We were afraid of going back, so we decided to keep going. Finally, when we got to our destination, we asked the people in the town about our mysterious incident. Everybody told us that we were very lucky because the woman who lived in the old house had saved our lives. She and her grandson had died many years ago when 100 tons of rocks and mud destroyed their house on a rainy night. People say that since then she has saved many drivers' lives when there is danger in the zone.